So just when I think we're all done with 2020, it just keeps going. I mean, we're like a week out from 2021, and of course, something else ridiculous had to happen, and that has to do with a brand new game console that I guess is coming out. We're going to look at it here. I talked about the KF console in Newswave. Not too much, though, because I thought, you know what, it would be interesting to do a series, like an actual series video, looking at what KFC is proposing here and seeing if it's something they'll even try to do, because I still kind of think it's them doing a marketing ploy here, but I mean, they've partnered with several different manufacturers. They're starting to talk about some of the specs inside, and I have had a lot of people ask me what I think about some of the things they're saying here. So, you know what? We're going to do that today. We're going to do a completely serious video and slight breakdown of even some of the inside of the system that they have shown us here today. Guys, you enjoy this video, make sure you hit the like button. Helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawn Wave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. So let's go over to their website. This is a landing page that Cooler Master has apparently set up. Introducing the KF console. Power your hunger. The KF console has arrived forged from the fires of the KFC ovens and built by Cooler Master from the ground up. There's never been a tastier way to experience the latest titles in stunning 4K 240 frames per second. And they keep calling it a console. It says console directly on the front, and they keep pointing to the Xbox Series X and the PS5 in every bit of marketing they're doing for this supposed box that they have created here. And I mean, if you look at the front of it, yeah, it's supposed to resemble a bucket of chicken from KFC. I get that, but it's matte black, it's simplistic, it's a tower design, basically. It kind of like what Apple did for a bit with their Mac Pro, where it was like this little tower trash can thing that people would call it. It has red accents on the front here. I guess that's their logo they're going with. KFC, and then console, but, you know, console. And then we have a red button down here for the power, and it looks like we have kind of some orange or reddish accent lights down here. You know what? It's pretty straightforward. It's nothing too outlandish for the design. I think it actually works. It's fine. But I want you to pay attention right here, because there is a door actually on the front. You can see it's kind of a cutout right here. It's very important. That is the unique feature of what's going to be a fairly expensive system, because that's where you put your food. No, really, take a look. Never risk letting your chicken go cold again thanks to the patented chicken chamber. Utilizing the system's natural heat and airflow system, you can now focus on your gameplay and enjoy hot, crispy chicken between rounds. I think you could put other stuff in there. I feel like it doesn't have to just be chicken, but I mean, it's KFC. They're saying, hey, if you buy chicken from us, you can keep it in here between rounds. And yeah, I guess your keyboard and your really nice mouse that you bought with this are going to get all greasy, but you know, the chicken's warm. Now, they did give us this exploded view here. This is from Cooler Master, who had it custom designed by a Swedish craftsman, Tim Pele. And I guess we'll go over here because I have a full, like a bigger picture of this full exploded view with the X-ray. And let's talk about this for a second here. So we can see at the top, it has like kind of this griddle looking design, obviously for like a grill, sure. And it has like a bunch of screw holes actually up here. I believe this would be kind of like an acrylic plastic at the top, it looks like. Some IO ports at the top, a couple USB ports. I believe it's a headphone jack. That could be a couple of different things. It could be Thunderbolt, maybe. It could also be a reset button or something. But if we go down here, we have our main board, which is going to be an Intel NUC board, and then below that we have our GeForce RTX card. That's going to be from ASUS, and for what they're touting, 240 frames per second, 4K, any of that stuff, it's probably either a 3080 or a 3090. I do wonder if they could fit a 3090 in here. I'm kind of thinking it's more along the lines of a 3080 that they had designed for it, or just got them at cost from ASUS, who partnered with them. And then we have our chicken chamber. Now, could the chicken chamber work? Yes, it actually could, believe it or not. Now, would I recommend anyone put food in? How expensive I'm going to tell you this system's going to be? No, because most likely it's not going to be cleaned every single time. It's just, you know, that's the way it is. People would have to really be serious about keeping this thing clean, and if they were going to spend this kind of money on something, I don't think they would drop greasy chicken or whatever else in there and risk the parts inside. If they sealed this off completely, then it would probably just get this dirty or messy or any of that grease, those kind of things. But you can also kind of get it up the sides of it. I do wonder if it would end up kind of on the, over time, as you use it, if it would end up on this top acrylic part up here. Now, how would they keep it warm? I'm sure they'd have fans inside that would blow air around it, or just out the top. And as it would kind of rise up, it would end up running into this. They also appear to have like these flaps of plastic almost right here. It's kind of hard to see, but it looks like it just angles everything up through the middle here. Again, probably around the food. It's interesting to think that they designed this and like the whole, I'm going to say top half almost of this is dedicated to a food chamber inside of a PC that is going to be worth thousands and thousands of dollars. And while I have a very limited view of what they're trying to do with this and the insides of it and everything, I mean, it looks like it's going to be built fairly well. They have an extra large device just to make sure everything's accommodated inside. And without seeing the overall quality of the parts in person, I mean, the design is fine. It should work all right. So let's go back over here and talk about specs for a minute, because in order to make this work, the board inside, the main board, would have to be fairly small because they have to make room for the food chamber, obviously. Let's go over here. It says only the best, housed in a custom Cooler Master NC100 chassis. We needed something small but mighty, and that's just what we got. At the heart of the beast of a machine is the Intel NUC 9 Extreme Compute element, keeping space down and driving performance that mere mortals could only dream of. This board is capable enough. Sure, it is a solid board. It has a 9980 HK in it, and it comes as mostly a bare bone kit. You'll add RAM to it, which I assume they're going to do all of that on their end because they'll deliver a working system to you. But this isn't a cheap thing. From what I remember, this board here, like if we just search it up and we go over to this B&H as an example, $1,453. I'm sure they're going to Intel to get this thing, I would assume. But even like a lower cost for what like it would be for Intel, this, as you can start to see, kind of gives us an idea as to how much this thing is going to cost. Now, as for the setup, the Intel NUC 9 Extreme kit it's been reviewed by a lot of sites. It came out earlier this year. This is in like April. And like, for example, this is Tom's Hardware, and they opened it up, and we can see inside it does have kind of a video card here, and then we can see it down here without that video card inside, and the little Intel NUC 9 Extreme is right back there, and then they can give us a better shot of it here. So this is kind of how I expect the KF console to be if it does come out. It's going to be this similar setup where instead of it being kind of standing up here, it's just going to be flipped on its side and everything's being like stacked one on top of the other. But according to Tom's Hardware, the kit that they checked out here, where they did have to get memory, a graphics card, storage, all that stuff is going to be provided, like I said, I'm sure by KFC and everything. But their total cost was $2,816 for all of this, and that is with an RTX 2070 Mini that they managed to get for $420. The 3080 or the 3090 is a bit more expensive than that. Speaking of video cards, they do talk about how they are partnering with ASUS here, saying discover a level of gameplay you didn't know possible with ASUS-powered graphics that runs buttery smooth, keeping tearing and frame drop a thing of the past with a first-of-its-kind hot swappable GPU slot. The KFC console will stay the most powerful console for generations to come. So, I mean, you're not going to change the video card out when it's plugged in and on. So they say hot swappable. I assume hot swappable is just like a play on words, how they keep talking about hot food and like the PC parts and all of this. It's just going to be a video card you change out normally over time. As they say, you can keep up with everything else around it as technology improves and you get better video cards. Basically like a PC. And then they talk about the storage, PCIe, NVMe. We've taken your data to the next level of performance, reliability, and efficiency with 2 Seagate Barracuda 1 terabyte SSD. So looking at all of this here, I would estimate, and it is a custom design, that's the part that's kind of tough to figure out. I would estimate this system here to be, I'm going to say about $4,000. This is not going to be a cheap device. It really will not be. And I don't think they're going to make this. I don't think they're going to make this for mass production. What I think they're going to do here, they will create 10 of them maybe, and they'll do some sort of giveaway or contest or competition in their stores where you go there and you get stuff off of like the drinks or the food, something like that, like McDonald's Monopoly or something, but at KFC. And this will be one of the prizes. You can get the KFC console, like how Taco Bell would do the gold, PlayStation or the Xbox stuff they did. It would just be something that's seen as a prize. Also, the other question is this actually a console? I mean, you'd see it as like a Steam machine or just a custom PC build. It doesn't have a console environment, quote unquote. Like you're not going to start this up and you're locked into the KFC OS or something. It's just going to load up Windows and you're going to go along like it's a regular PC. So you can't really compare it to the closed off environment of the PlayStation and the Xbox. You just compare it to things that HP or Dell, what they're making, whether it's Alienware or Omen or any of that, it's not really something that I would necessarily take and say, yes, this $4,000 thing, we're going to compare it directly to the $500 PS5. But I have to hand it to KFC. The marketing is working. People are talking about this system, even if it just ends up being a marketing ploy where they don't make it, or maybe they make like 10 of them, like I said. It's done its job. It's got people talking about KFC. So maybe Burger King will do one, maybe McDonald's will do one, and then we'll have a bunch of different consoles from all these fast food restaurants. That would be an interesting console war, wouldn't it? Of all these different companies fighting it out without actually releasing consoles. But let me know what you guys think about this one down below. With the KF console, I guess on track for 2021. We don't have price or release date or any of that. We haven't even seen the controller yet. I mean, it's got to have a controller if it's a console, right? Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.